All right, today we're working on our Husqvarna 401 Vitpilen. We've got our Competition Werkes replacement exhaust. We've got the mini cat delete pipe. This is our chamber delete component. Nice little brackets there. And then here's the exhaust with resonator. Look at how open that is. Think about what that's going to sound like. That's our task today. All right, so we've got the factory slip-on here from Akrapovic. We're just going to show you what it sounds like with our decibel meter here. Let's get this thing started up so we can get this new exhaust on. So at an even idle, you're sitting about 86 decibels. A little bit of rev here. So what we're doing here today, we're going to be loosening up these little clamps here on each bit. This here's the mini cat, and here's your chamber pipe. So we're going to be loosening up these clamps, and then there's some bolts and hardware that are holding the chamber in, and that's going to be the most amount of the work we're going to do today. So we'll start with removing the chamber bolts to get everything loose, and then we'll start to loosen up the clamps and drop everything off one by one, and then feed in our new parts. We should be good to go. All right, so we got your tools laid out. This is what you're gonna need. 6mm Allen wrench, a 12mm open end wrench, a little tiny screwdriver, flathead of course, 12mm socket and extension, obviously the socket wrench, a 13mm and your T45 Allen for your rear exhaust bolt, 8mm and an extension for your upper chamber bolts. That's about it. This is all you'll have left over when you're done with your install. So we've got our factory Akrapovic upgraded exhaust removed. For our Competition Werkes muffler, this is definitely lighter, I will be honest. Much more open, but lighter. Here's our chamber pipe. You can see this boy. This nice, smooth replacement. And then the cat delete. There's your converter. Pipe there. All right, so we got a little 12mm bolt head down here that goes through the back side of the engine and everything. It's probably one of the more complicated parts to take off. I'm guessing here, so we're gonna see how well that goes. So I got an 8mm socket right here. I'm gonna be taking these chamber mounting bolts out next. One on each side. Both really easy access. A long extension helps. So, same wrench, opposite side. All right, so I'm gonna remove this bolt next and then start taking these clamp bolts off one at a time from the back moving forward. This here's a 13mm. This could have been replaced at some time, if I know us. Got a 6mm Allen wrench here. Hit this clamp bolt. If you're smart, you don't do this, you leave this bolt in here just to hold it up while you're doing this. It doesn't fall on you. I mean, if you're gonna sell this, I mean, nobody wants scratch exhausts. All right, so the bolt's out. You gotta kind of open the clamp up. I just slide it back a little bit. Give it some clearance here to remove that. There you go. All right, for this upper chamber clamp, again, that 6mm Allen on that clamp bolt. Loosen her up. She's really loose. Ah. There we go. Rotate it, get some access. Support it with your fingers. Catch your little spacer. Set it on the ground. Open that clamp. Struggle. Struggle. Don't hit the spring. There we go. All right, so you give it a little good thud with your hand, loosen that up. And we carefully drop that out the bottom. Look at this thing. That's just heavy. Well, you know, removing this chamber pipe, that's about a pound and a half. It's nothing crazy, but a little bit of extra performance. All right, so now we're taking out the mini cat. Obviously we just started it, so the cat section's a little warm, so you might see me scream. Always let your motorcycle cool down before working on the exhaust. Again, that's that 6mm Allen. Get that clamp spacer out of there. Get that clamp out of there. All right, once you get that clamp out of the way, slide that pipe down, drop more parts, right out the same place that chamber came from. You can see that's your restricted catalytic converter. Gotta have that to make it legal. So we're taking our new short cat delete pipe here. I'm gonna slide up the bottom. Try not to scratch anything. Try is keyword. Slide it onto your clamp. Switch hands. Open that up and wiggle your clamp into position. See if that was going to hold it up just fine. So these clamps, they've got a little spacer. What I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to stick between my fingers. Wiggle that into the existing hole of the clamp. Take your bolt. Run that through the spacer. There we go, spacer's kind of held on. I can attempt to find the bolt hole back here, the nut. Grab my wrench. And make sure you're actually threaded in there, not cross-threading anything. You'll know. And just lightly snug it up for now. I'm gonna keep it a little extra loose. Position this. And this cool little Competition Werkes design on their pipe, shown off right there in that opening. All right, so what we've got to do here, we've got to pull these gasket donuts off the existing chamber pipe. We're going to slide those on here and put each corresponding clamp on each end. If for some reason you were to take all your clamps off, these are a different size than the front pipe there that went on the mini cat piece. So that's just something to notice. And then this here, you have to pull these grommets out. You kind of press on the back side here. You can see me kind of folding these in. There we go. Do the same thing to install it on your new piece. Cursing at it always helps. So this here is your little donut gasket, and these clamps are pretty awesome. But this here will seal up on each of the tapers, and that's what allows for a exhaust tight seal. I take a little screwdriver, kind of wedge it in here, pry up a little bit, really careful. This stuff's soft. You can see how easy it mars. You want to keep that as complete as possible. Just work it off the tip of the pipe. Notice how it's tapered on both sides. Get a good seal. And do that for the top one as well.
This is very informative.
So informative.
So informative.
I feel very informed.
I'm so informed right now. I got a raging clue right now.
Raging clue.
All right, so we got these two clamps. Yeah, these it's the same size. Fuck no. All right, well let's hope we get it the right one. Grab your clamp. Slide it on, nice and ginger-like. Oops. Try not to hurt yourself. Top boy. There we go. That's there. Here's your factory grommet isolators. All right, so I pulled this clip off a little too early. Originally, your bushing was on this side. Now with this exhaust, the clip is gonna be right here and the bushing is gonna be on the inner side. So you flip your push nut right back into place. All right, so we're taking this replacement chamber pipe, sliding up from the bottom again. We've got our bushing pre-assembled. I'm gonna take my bolt here, the original bolt, work that through, and I get it started. Try to get your hand in there. Just hand thread it up. Don't tighten it. Just kind of keep it in position because you're going to need to wiggle this around while you're adjusting your clamps. So you can see it's supporting itself. I'm on the bottom holding the pipe out. Take my other hand, carefully moving this clamp, trying not to scratch it. And there we go. I'll put I gotta put that bushing and bolt back in here, so I'm gonna stick my other hand. And this is not easy. Grab your bolt, grab your spacer, and then thread that in. Get some tension on your clamp. Not a tension headache.
That's such a bad joke.
Yeah, it was so terrible. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna take our bolt here out of our exhaust hanger. Our new Competition Werkes muffler. Slide our bolt in. Let that hold it up so we're not scratching shit. Try to line up our piping and our clamp. There we go. You gotta do your fun spacer in here. Slide that in there. Notice how I'm kind of keeping this clamp at an angle. Make this a little easier. Everything holds itself up. All right, so I've got that clamp attached. This bolt in here. I'm just gonna do some wiggling, get everything kind of lined up, make sure my clamps are sealing on all the lips. Make sure I can access each of these bolts. Might actually have to get an extension for this one. So we're gonna do that. Tuck that underneath. Just gonna snug it up just a little bit more. Do some wiggles. I'm gonna go up to the other side, do some more wiggles. I'm gonna grab this top pipe. This bottom piece, bottom and muffler are closely attached. These are snug. I'm gonna tighten this guy up. Full clamp here. Work to this one. Get a full clamp on this. Nice and tight. Tighten up the front clamp. Should say bottom clamp. Snug. Now we'll put our nut back on the back here. Grab your 13 mil wrench. good to go. You're gonna have to take your 8mm ratchet, sneak up on the back side. It's actually easier to access over here than the other side. I can't see it, but I feel it. So this is our bottom bolt for that chamber pipe. You don't have to put this back in. You can if you if you plan on putting that chamber back in there. It helps keep the weather out of those threads. So we're gonna just stick that back in. See that thread right in there, and just give it a snug, and should be good. All right, so this is Andreas here, my shopmate. He's gonna be testing this new Competition Werkes exhaust out. Got our decibel meter out again. Let's see what this thing sounds like. About 65, 50 decibels in here when I'm talking. And let's start this boy up.
First impression on this is just a cleaner look in the bottom of the bike. Just an amazing look, and obviously it gives like better details on the bike. And so I'm about to just take it out for a quick spin and show you guys that with the clutch, just power wheelies, just super easy with it, and we'll see what happens.
Final thoughts? What do you think, man?
Man. So look at my arms are still a little bit shaky. The bike is just absolutely like amazing, like crazy, powerful, and super loud. But yes, super fast, super loud, but it's gonna get a lot of looks on it. So pretty cool.
Awesome. All right, here is our next step. Take this full exhaust system, this fully custom Kreug ECU from Kuber. See what kind of power this makes afterwards. So it took us about 45 minutes to an hour to install this whole kit. Turn it from a mild rider, you can ride home at night. Now, well, you pretty much can't ride it anywhere without pissing somebody off.
Yes.
That's how we like it.